Most people think the biggest thing shaping their life is discipline. They assume if they could just be more motivated, more focused, more consistent, their habits would change and their life would finally start moving in the direction they want. But when you start paying closer attention to how people actually live, something surprising appears. Most of the things we do every day aren't really decisions. They're the result of the environment we wake up inside, the places we spend our time, the people around us, the routines we fall into, even the information we consume online. All of those things quietly shape our behaviour long before discipline ever gets involved. And once you start seeing that clearly, something else becomes obvious. If you want to change the direction of your life, sometimes the first thing you need to change is the environment you're living inside. Because the environments we place ourselves in quietly train the person we become. What I didn't fully understand at that time was just how powerful that idea actually is. And it wasn't until my own environment changed that I began to see it clearly. At the end of the last chapter, we spoke about load bearing and how what happens when we move the weight of one habit that's been shaping your life. So obviously we spoke about like kind of bad habits and addictions, and we kind of got you to write down like the time that you're actually spending on certain habits that you've got in your daily life, or like over a week kind of time frame. Now that basically is like as in what habits can you identify that you maybe want to change or reduce time with. We kind of did go into addictions and say that if you want to kind of come off an addiction, you need to do it, well, not do it for 90 days to kind of basically reset you and rewire your mind. So once you actually take off a bad habit, you're wanting to kind of try to replace that with something good. So obviously in the kind of earlier chapter, we kind of said about writing 25 things that you want to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years. Now the reason we got you to do that, or wanted to kind of go down that route, is because it's about you consciously choosing. Because most people, they've just filled their day up with things that they don't necessarily want to do. Kind of external factors or things have just kind of gradually brought these kind of habits in place. So that's just like things from like obviously work extra shifts that you're doing, or different times that you're working. Your family, your friends, or your kind of partner always kind of asking you to do something else with a time that you maybe have kind of thought that was your own. Or if you end up watching TV or scrolling on your phone, or you're going to have to take the kids to certain like clubs, etc. So time really just goes if you're not careful. And that's why I was saying about the 25 things that you're kind of wanting to consciously choose, that's the kind of direction of where you want to direct your time. Now with this part of it, it's that it is really your environment that can like take your time away. So basically if you're sitting in the living room and your TV's on, you might end up just watching TV, you get sucked into it. If you're sitting beside your bed and your phone's right there, you might just lean over and pick up your phone. If you're out socialising with friends, or they might say, do you want a drink? And you end up drinking. So it's like your environment does have a big impact of what you actually spend your time on. So when I was saying about choosing 25 things you consciously want to choose, that's the same about the environment. Now I kind of understood that myself through one of my own kind of experiences recently, and that was that I think you have kind of explained in this channel that I've kind of split up with my wife, and the kind of second time that we split up, and there was kind of no hope of going back. What I realised is, like, I was the thing that I wanted most in the world was to be back with her. Perhaps I still love her, man. It's so hard when you kind of get heartbroken and there's no kind of understanding of what happened, kind of thing. But what I realised is, like, because I moved back up to Glasgow, I was travelling back down to York to see her every second weekend, and obviously I had my kids on the other weekend, so my time was really kind of split. On my days off, that's what I was doing. Now at that same time, I was just going on this like kind of healing journey and doing YouTube. Now that is the thing about your environment. It is about like the people you have round about you as well. So because I was going to travel down, then that was going to take my time up. So when we did actually split up, it was, as I said, it was heartbreaking, and I wished we could still like be together in the future or whatever. But like what I realised is, like, it needed to happen in order for me to grow, in order for me to do like the YouTube channel, to understand all these principles and be able to like get my weekly routine or daily routine into something meaningful for me and get myself on a direction. Because the reason we split up was because I was procrastinating. I wasn't doing anything in my life. I was just drifting. Now looking back, as I said, it's like it feels as if it needed to happen in order for me to grow. Now I'm not kind of trying to kind of say to anybody or promote to anybody that you should split up with somebody to basically go down that kind of journey. All I'm kind of trying to say is, well, most people actually live with their partner. I was living in a different city, like 4 hours drive away. So yeah, it's just, as I said, the environment's not just your kind of house or the places you are, it's other things as well. It is the people, it is your responsibilities, it is your routines, and it's also like social media, etc. Because with there's a saying that I've kind of, it always kind of resonates really with me, and it's that they say that you get your personality from the 5 people you hang about with the most. Now that is obviously, it's not just the people you hang about with, it is actually the content that you consume. For me, like I maybe touched on it before, that I get lost in the conspiracy theories for about 3 years. It was one of those algorithm things that, like, oh, you like this information, then maybe you like this. So I kept getting pulled down deeper and deeper into these kind of holes, as such, the rabbit holes, and it ended up becoming really dark. And because I was doing it for 3 years as well, it was really just taking a lot of time up, and the information that I was consuming. When I met people, I wasn't really speaking. I wasn't really having a conversation. I was just talking to them. I was regurgitating the information that I was taking in these kind of threads. And what I found is, like, a lot of people started like kind of trying to avoid me instead of what it used to happen is they used to love kind of coming speaking to me. We used to have great conversations, exciting times, and yeah, but going down the conspiracy theories, that's what I realised is, like, my personality started being affected by the content that I consumed. So that's just a wee bit of a warning that that is your environment as well. So you kind of need to protect that kind of space. So the core insight of that kind of delving into conspiracy theories and getting lost in the algorithm as such is that information becomes your inner voice, and that inner voice becomes your thinking, and then that thinking becomes how you speak, and then that's how people experience you. So content really does shape identity, and that's what it does say about that. The 5, you get your personality from the 5 people you hang about with the most. So this takes us back to in that social element is through my years of going out partying and drinking, I saw my personality with the friends I hung about with. And those days were fun, they were great. Like, when you look back, when you've not got any responsibilities and life is a bit of a big party, and obviously it's a lot less expensive as well. So those were like great days, amazing days. But then, as I said, like, I started having problems with alcohol because I just kind of still drank as if I was like a young 20-year-old or like 25-year-old or whatever, hitting peak form. But once you've got responsibilities, once like kind of, your job is asking you a wee bit more of you, and you're having to look at the future of a bit more serious kind of mindset, then that kind of personality needs to change. You need to adapt. So if you end up still hanging with the same friends at the same like pubs and social element, then you're still going to be that young 20-year-old still chasing the kind of exciting times. Now, life does move on. You grow as a person, and that is, like, as I said, with the environment that you're in. So linking it back to the chapters we spoke about of identifying the habits that you want to change. Obviously there is going to be habits that you don't want to change. Like, if you want to be watching TV, still watch it. If you're scrolling on your phone, nobody's saying there's anything bad about it. Or if you do want to hang about and still drink and stuff, that's not really the kind of point. The kind of point is that if there is any bad habits that you feel as if it's starting to annoy you, that you feel as if you need to start changing, then it was actually to kind of just shine a torch on the time that you're spending doing that. And then if you've identified that time, if you've identified that habit that you want to change, and then obviously with the previous lessons about choosing 25 things that you want to add into your life in the next 3 to 5 years, or even just the top 1, 2 or 3 just to start concentrating on, to basically then be able to take those bad habits and replace them. So if that is the case, then you need to change your environment as well. So if you, as I said, for me, I wanted to get off alcohol, so I had to come away from that social element. If you're wanting to stop scrolling, then maybe you should put your phone in a different room, or like at night time. Like, there's a time that you say, right before bed, I'm not going to be on my phone for an hour, so you put it in a different room or whatever. Or if you're not wanting to watch TV, then just turn it off or do something different. If there's, as I said, you've got your partner that is asking you to do different things, then maybe you just need to structure your day a wee bit better, to say that this is the time of the day, or this is my time to do things, and then just communicate it properly. So this kind of does lean on to one of the principles that I liked, that really resonated with me, and I found it from a kind of motivational speaker called Ed Millett. Now his idea was that he splits his day into 3 mini days. So the way he explains it, it was like 6 o'clock to 12, that was a mini day. From 12 to 1800, that was another mini day. And then 1800 to 2200, that was the kind of third part of it. Now that ties into the principle that that we spoke about before, about the 8-8-8 principle, where we spoke about 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours for meaningful and purposeful work. Now, and then 8 hours for yourself. Now that was like kind of like things for your health, your mindset, food, family and friends. So that kind of is a bit of a kind of perfect, perfect kind of day. Like as I say, the 8-8-8 principle. Now I kind of want to jump back into the 8 hours of purposeful or meaningful work, because what I've kind of realised and what I kind of feel as if I'm doing now is that purposeful and meaningful work, as I said, that kind of is for my days off. So I'm still truck driving just now, 4 days a week, but I've got 3 days off for myself. So these 3 days, this is where I'm trying to bring these principles into my life. And for me, when I'm doing work, it is doing the YouTube channel, it is like writing, it's putting plans in place for like the future version of myself kind of thing. So the kind of purposeful or meaningful, what I'm kind of meaning is like you're doing a job that even if you had millions in the bank, that's exactly what you would be doing. There's no any difference. Like, do you mean if you're starting to do something, for me as an example, if I'm doing this YouTube channel and then for some reason I get millions of pounds in the bank, I'm going to be doing this YouTube channel. I'm still going to write kind of programs for men's retreats, or like kind of 13-week programs, or doing all these principles, or writing a book. That's exactly what I want to do. I'm passionate about it. It maybe comes across when I speak about it. I know it does when I speak to my friends. So that is the purposeful and meaningful kind of part of it. Now we kind of delve into this kind of mini day, and why it kind of resonated with me is because it is breaking down into smaller kind of sections, and the different times of the day are actually used for better kind of they're used for different purposes. So in the morning you're like kind of, it's a lot better to like do things that are quite what do you call it, concentrated kind of work, kind of creative work, things that's kind of what mornings can be used for, like your best time for that. And then in the afternoons is a wee bit more kind of relaxed. So I think Ed Millett can explain that as in the afternoons he does like meetings and a lot less things that has to be done, but it just takes less of your like kind of concentrated effort, more collaborative work and all that kind of stuff as well. Whereas the kind of writing or things that's kind of, if you think of if you're writing things down in the previous night, as in right, what am I going to do, like make a list of what I'm going to do today, then the kind of harder things or the bigger things, you're kind of wanting to get them done first. You want to get them done in the morning, so that takes up a lot more concentrated time kind of thing. But for me with the mini days, what it kind of hit on and why this 8-8-8 principle kind of came in was that, as I said, you had 8 hours for purposeful or meaningful work and 8 hours for time for yourself. So then if you just split those mini days into 2, then it does actually fit that 8-8-8 principle perfectly, because from between 2200 and 6 in the morning, that's your 8 hours sleep. And then obviously 12 to 6, that's 6 hours, and 6 in the morning to 12, that's another 6 hours, and then 1800 to 2200, that's 4 hours, so that's the other 16 hours. So if you just split those mini days, like, so in the morning 3 hours for yourself and 3 hours for work, and then in the afternoon 3 hours for yourself, 3 hours for work, and then 2 hours split for yourself and 2 hours for work in the evening as well. And it kind of does marry up with kind of people that already do 9 to 5 jobs, but 9 to 5 jobs and working for somebody else, you're not consciously choosing what you're actually wanting to do in your day. So if we split the mini days into 2, so you've got 3 hours for yourself, 3 hours for work, that kind of gives you a wee bit extra time, or it gives you a kind of concentrated a time that's allotted for you to concentrate. So when I'm saying about the environments, and if you've got your partners and they're kind of asking you to do different things, if you've already kind of said, right, this is the 3 hours that I've allotted for myself to do the kind of work that I want to get done, and then when you feel as if you've kind of done that time, you've got that kind of work done, you've also allotted time to spend with your family, to go and do all the errands, or to kind of do your kind of responsibilities, etc. That's already kind of structured into your day. So when external factors ask you, or like you end up doing things, it doesn't like kind of throw you off. It doesn't, like, because I know a lot of people, I know myself, it's when you're doing something that you're kind of wanting to get done, and then somebody asks you to do something else, you in your head you're all like anxious, and you're like, oh, and you get annoyed, because then you're not basically achieving anything. So it is just, as I said, like, your environment is a lot of external factors hitting you, and it can really kind of affect your nervous system, to be honest. So you're wanting to structure your days better, and that's why these kind of different principles like kind of really help. If you really break them down and understand and unpack what they're kind of meaning, is between 6 and 12, like 3 hours of work, that's all you've kind of allotted yourself. But you've also allotted yourself 3 hours for doing exercise, meeting people, all the rest of it. So you just need to say, right, at this time I'm going to do this, and the other time I'm going to be kind of doing that. And a lot of people, like, see, if you think of, oh, what are you doing tomorrow, and somebody says I'm working, that's all is in their head, is like, I'm working that full day. But you're not working the full day, you're only working half of the day. So if you kind of structure it like this, then it's like, wait a minute, I'm only working for 3 hours in the morning, why don't we meet up for a lunch or a coffee, or let's go for a walk, or in the afternoon, oh, I've got a bit of time here, let's go to the gym and meet somebody else and meet a friend and stuff. So that's what we're trying to kind of change your mindset, is like, as in, right, although I'm working, I've still got a lot of other time for myself. And it's like, once you start like highlighting that, once you shine a torch on it, that's you kind of then consciously choosing that time that you've got available for yourself. And once you consciously choose that, that's when you consciously realize what you're wasting your time on, and that's when changes do happen. So yeah, I found that wee principle quite cool, the mini day example, because also as well that the mini days, like, say that if you split it into that, then if you don't get things done in the morning, you've got your other mini day, your afternoon, to kind of go better, and then in the evening you've got another chance as well. So if one thing goes wrong in the morning, that's not your day ruined. Like, it's just, a lot of people have it in their head that is like, right, if I can't do something, and then it's just a snowball effect, and it doesn't really work for you. It makes you, as I said, that nervous system kind of breaks down and stuff. So yeah, So the point is that like real change doesn't start with motivation. It starts with the environment that you're in. And this will kind of lead on to the next chapter as well, that the environment helps change behaviour, but environment alone isn't enough. You also need that structure and the consistency. So we kind of touched on this structure with the this mini day thing, but also I've kind of teased the thing about if you write things down the next day, the previous night, so you've got a list, so you've kind of got a bit of a path or a direction that you're going to move on that day. And then also, as I said, like with the mini days, if you're in the morning, if it doesn't go right, then you still get your afternoon, you still get your kind of evening. So it's just to like trying to integrate all these wee principles in place, and just one step at a time, seeing how they could fit in your life. Because that's what I found doing this, the YouTube channel and the healing journey, that when I found these principles, when I've unpacked the kind of the wisdom behind it and started to experiment and using them in my own life, that I found them to be quite profound and quite helpful. So if I'm finding them helpful for me, that's what I've kind of realised, that I want to kind of write a book about this or write a program about this, because it has helped me massively shift from just drifting. Like obviously for me, as I said, I split like with the person I loved the most in the world because I was drifting, because like I was just unmotivated, and I never, she couldn't see the potential. Well, she could see she basically says, I can't be with somebody just for their potential. And that's when I found the gap of the person I had in my head of who I wanted to become, and the person I was at that moment in time was massive. So this is why I kind of had the realization, the wake-up call to be, right, I need to change my direction, I need to change my life and path into meeting that vision of who I had in the future. So it's all these wee small principles and steps that has helped me along the way to do it. And as I said, I'm excited about it, I'm passionate about it, and now I'm kind of wanting to put it all together and share it with you guys. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. It's actually a beautiful morning, but it's meant to be it's meant to be raining quite heavy in the next hour or so. So I wanted to get out early and do a video, be part of my wee mini day morning. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Slán Ciao.